Today I'm going to hopefully teach you guys how to link your iPads or iPhones, technically in theory, to OBS so you can get a signal showing on there. Now I'm going to tell you guys what you need right now at the beginning as to not waste your guys' time. So, first of all, you will, of course, need either an iPad or an iPhone. They should work in theory about the same. Second, you will need a capture card for this particular method because I'm showing you guys how to do it on PC or Mac. Because on Mac, technically you can do it via Sidecar or something like that, but I'm currently on PC right now. And the easiest method I found is to use a capture card. Now, it doesn't have to be the specific capture card I'm holding. I'll actually put a link in the description below to a few capture cards that I have used in the past and whatnot, as well as the one I'm currently using and whatnot. So there's definitely that. And then the final thing you'll need is this. This is, I don't know if you guys can see it fine. Let me turn down it a little bit, exposure. Okay, so this is, it's an adapter, okay, basically. There's an HDMI port thing here, which is what you'll need. And then this end plugs into an iPad if you have an older iPad, or an phone if you have an older iPhone. Now, this model right here is not the one we'll be using though. There's actually a newer model because the new iPhones and iPad Pros have USB Type-C. So I actually had to buy a new adapter thing. I buy it from Apple's website. You can just go to apple.com, pick it up. I will be honest, it wasn't the cheapest in the world. In theory, you could go on Amazon, get a third-party one, but you might run into some firmware issues when the iPad updates because the cheaper model tend to break after an update. I don't know why. Don't ask me. If anyone knows why, let me know, comment section below. But here we are. Okay, so step one. I'll go in order. Plug this into your iPad. You can also alternatively do this last, okay? Second step, plug an HDMI cord, which I guess it went without saying, but you technically need an HDMI cord. Plug one end into here, plug the other end into your capture card. Yes, your capture card. So your capture card has plugged into HDMI, then plug it into the computer like you normally would a capture card. I can actually show you guys right here. You plug this side into the computer and whatnot, and then plug this into here via HDMI. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. I personally use a 4-to-1 switcher so I can switch the inputs between all of my platforms so they can all record. But if you only have one, you won't need that. You'll just have to make sure that it's goes in the in of your capture card. Make sure it goes in the in, and then after it goes in the in, make sure it's plugged up to the computer itself, and then that's when you open up OBS. So let's actually go into OBS scene that we have set up. So this is the scene we have set up. All we did is we hit plus on the scenes, named it iPad for the purposes of this, and then we added a source. If you'd like to know all the ins and outs on adding sources and scenes, definitely let me know. I can make a fully detailed video about it if you wish. But here we have our scene right now. As you can see, I'm using an Elgato capture card. It said no signal, but that's because we don't have it plugged into our iPad. So we are going to do that right now. Now, as you can see, it's mirroring our iPad just as you want it to. This is actually DaVinci Resolve on the iPad that I'm showing you guys right now. Coincidentally, the reason why it's showing that there's no sources here because I have an external SSD that I usually plug up to the iPad, but I can't do that while I'm using this method because this uses the only plug on the iPad, unfortunately. So yeah, again, this is it on the iPad, and audio does actually play through it just fine as well, in case you guys were curious. Like, I would show you guys. Let's go into a game, shall we? Okay, we decided to go into Fruit Ninja. I think it might be a little loud for you guys. I don't know, but let's turn that down a bit for you guys. There we go. Fruit Ninja, perfectly fine and dandy. It's working just fine. You'll hear the swipes, you'll hear the background music and whatnot. And yeah, that's just all there is to it. Again, in order to make this happen, I used an adapter. I used, of course, an iPad Pro. I have an M1 chip in my iPad Pro, but M1 chip is not required at all. I used a capture card, not this particular capture card, but this is a good visual capture card, and an HDMI cable. That's what I needed to make this happen. Technically, there are other ways you can do it, like some places offer a monthly subscription or whatnot, but I personally think if you're planning to actually capture stuff from your iPad or iPhone a lot, or you actually are doing this as a one-off thing, but you have consoles that you like to try to capture anyway, or even you have a second PC that you want to capture stuff all the time, I would personally recommend an investment into a capture card. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it doesn't have to be the exact capture card that I use for this, but I do recommend a capture card nonetheless. And I'm going to end it here. Hopefully this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.